Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look. This is the part number 272B from Pemko. This is a really nice piece of architectural bronze that is a threshold. This is a piece of extruded, what we would call architectural bronze. It's commonly known as brass or sometimes called bronze. It's an alloy of 4 primary components suitable for the use in not only hardware manufacturing but specifically for thresholds and weather stripping. And this is what we would call a saddle threshold. The 272 has very particular dimensions. We'll go over that now. Overall width, 6 inch. This is a 1/4 inch tall. And we call it a saddle threshold because if you use your imagination, it looks like a saddle. Now, this is not unlike a 6 by 1/4 inch saddle threshold from Pemko that you can get in an aluminum based material and then either mill or in an anodized finish like dark bronze. But this is a very different item in the sense that its base material is brass or architectural bronze. The question becomes is where would you use this when the material is $100 a foot? It's $200 a foot, depending on how much brass or bronze there is. These are exceptionally expensive, so if you're looking at these, there's a particular reason why you might be. Let's talk about that now, and then we'll talk about not only why you would want bronze as a base material, but its applications. Let's do that now. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. Now, why you would want bronze as an architectural base material would be where we've sold it. Just today, I quoted a project for a major, I don't know who it is, what theme park in Orlando. I don't know which of the names that we all know. They're doing some new attraction, and they're in the hardware sets. There are scores of these bronze thresholds, not this profile, but something not unlike it. Scores of them. There's several scores of them. There's hundreds of feet of solid architectural bronze. Now, why would someone like that type of client order this? Well, because of the traffic, the volume of people that will be stepping on these thresholds will be an astronomical number. Something like aluminum would never survive that sort of high volume. So that would be a reason, because it's substantially more durable. I always think of the front doors of City Hall in Chicago. They have bronze thresholds, not unlike this actually. And why? Again, high volume. Another reason why you would do this, a job that we did last year and the year before, extreme high-end residential. There's a house in Palm Beach, Florida, quite near, about a block off of the ocean, that ordered a dozen or so bronze thresholds. And when the home or the property is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 million dollars, you won't use something aluminum. The caliber of everything that will go into it is likely to be on par with what is the overall scope of the project in terms of dollars. The home won't necessarily see more volume than any other home. In fact, it's likely to see less because it's probably a vacation home for someone. But caliber, if you're building a 5 or 10 or $50 million house, you're probably not putting in mill aluminum. The other reason why you might use this material is because it's just so capable of withstanding an exterior coastal application, as this one is being expected to perform or behave as it would, being solid bronze. This client specifically wanted the material to patina and age with exposure to the elements. Aluminum won't do that. It won't. It'll degrade. It'll pit. It will start to turn into a powder form with enough exposure and time, especially the salt water. And I'll tell you, the east coast of Florida seems to be of higher humidity than the west coast. and that will all substantially attack aluminum. This material, architectural bronze, will patina with age, but it won't succumb like aluminum will, is the bottom line. And that natural aging process of the material would be a third reason why someone would actually want this over an aluminum-based material. High volume, meaning its durability, its application when it's commensurate with what's being used would be a second reason. Third, its ability to patina. This is just mill finish. This is what it looks like when it comes from the mill, the people who are extruding this. This is going to be streaky. This is going to be what some people would say is defective. It is anything but defective. And the people who order these, 10 years ago I had a client call and say, this is not acceptable. This is not what I ordered. Oh, yes, it is. You ordered mill. That's what mill looks like. And people will specifically order this because they want it to patina. Now onto this, because it's bronze, you can order it satin bronze, satin brass, polished brass, oil rubbed bronze. You can technically plate this. I've seen plated plated thresholds. To me, it wouldn't be appropriate because it's plating. It's going to break off. Whatever you do to this, you would want it to be likely something compatible with its base material. So there's a hotel in town here on the west coast of Florida, and they have bronze thresholds, and they are polishing those. They are, I don't know what their frequency of maintenance is on them, but anytime you walk through those openings, their thresholds look really nicely polished, and it's because of the base material. They can bring it back to that high luster, high value of being polished and shiny and looking quite presentable. Not today, not a year from now, not 5 years from now, but for as long as the material is there, it's going to continue to be something that you can work and polish. This is obviously just a 6-inch sample piece. If this was the genuine article, it would likely, unless you specified otherwise, have holes drilled for fasteners. This is what brass screws look like. It's not unusual for a client to order something like this from us and not want any holes drilled in it. They may want to do it themselves for the reason that they want or need the holes positioned exactly where the application requires. Might be offset, might be at certain center to centers. The factory can also drill that material. They will accept a sketch. They will charge for doing that. We could also supply it no holes, but instruct the manufacturer to include the fasteners. There have been times I've sold the material where the client didn't need any fasteners. They were doing something else with installing it. If you don't want it drilled, I would still request the fasteners because you're paying for it, number one. Number two, brass screws aren't cheap. You might need it in the future. I've had people order this material undrilled because, let's say you've got a 73-inch opening. Well, they're going to end up ordering a 78 or an 84-inch piece, and if the factory puts those holes in standard locations and then you need to cut it down 3, 4, 5, 6 inches from either end, whatever it is, your holes are not going to probably be where you want them to be. It's just bronze. It will be very easy to drill through. It's bronze, so it's material that will succumb to a typical, high-speed steel drill bit, and a countersink, things of that nature. You might also, when you order this material, want to order it to the specific size you want, because you may not want to cut it. Mill, not a big deal. You're not destroying any finish, but if you're ordering it polished brass, if you're ordering it oil-rubbed bronze, or any finish, once you cut that, you're going to expose the raw aluminum. Not a big deal, but if it's oil-rubbed, it might be a big deal. It will clearly be a different color finish than what's on the top of the threshold. So you may not want to order it in a, nothing is stock length, but you may not want to order it the next longest foot. And when you buy this, you're paying for it per foot. So if you needed something 49, you're paying for something that's 60. So be mindful of that to choose more wisely. And when it comes to lengths, we have it listed in the site and everything from about 2 foot to 8 foot. You probably can order it in lengths up to about 16 feet. That would be very unusual, but you can. But be mindful. If you have need for a custom length, reach out to us. Let's switch to the screen view where we can take a closer look at all the supporting information. If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it. Okay, here is the item that we are looking at, the 272B. Let's scroll down and look at its dimensions. It's 6-inch wide, 1/4-inch rise, completely handicap compliant. It's certainly, for two reasons really, it doesn't exceed the maximum overall height, and it is compliant with the rise over run relationship. And I'll show you actually where to find that in just a moment here. This amount of bevel is compliant. Available in lots of different lengths. Printable cut sheet here. It's just really a duplication of what this is. Let's take a look at some photographs that we have. There's more, I suppose, a cross section or a profile of the item. Bit of a close-up of the leading edge. These little serrations here are a nice feature of thresholds because it helps prevent the unintentional lateral movement of a threshold over time, meaning it bites into the floor just a little bit. Also a good area for you to deposit, sealant, caulk when you're installing that down. Fill that gap just ever so slightly. The underside, showing you what the mill finish looks like. And I will also show you where you can locate a video on different finishes as well. The fasteners that would come, probably a number 10 by 1.25" or 1 inch flathead brass Phillips drive wood screws. There is a link below this video, as seen here, to the manufacturer's page in our site. And when you click on that, you'll be able to pull up not only all of the Pemko items we sell by means of this horizontal navigation as seen here, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. Pemko materials and finishes are here. It's just a listing apparently, not super valuable. B, mill finish extruded bronze, also called brass. Let me show you a video that I have from another manufacturer that it's not here actually, but this reminds me. On that manufacturer's page, which will open in a moment, this video that I'm thinking about, under Contact Us, and then on the left side, let's look for Video Gallery. And then let's scroll down and go to page 2. And yeah, here's the video I'm thinking of. Solid architectural bronze brass finishes. The metallurgical properties of this alloy explained. Let's just look at this video quickly.
Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a visual review of the 4 common finishes that you will see on architectural.
You can scrub through this, and it will show all of the finishes, well, the common finishes on architectural bronze. Mill, satin, polished, and oil rubbed.
I'm going to lift these pieces up in a moment.
Mill, satin, polished, and oil rubbed, and I probably hold them up to the screen. Yeah, hold them up to the screen one at a time, so you could review what that all looks like, should you be interested to do so. Now, that link I had discussed to the handicap compliant is on the Pemko manufacturer's page, A117.1, and there is, if you were to search for thresholds, you will find everything as it pertains to thresholds, in fact. And what's important about that, I think it's in section 3, if I recall, or 4. Yeah. Yeah. So 404.2.4 tells us that thresholds at doorways shall be a 1/2 inch maximum. Okay, that's great. Really important to know there. But then the that bevel or rise over run relationship, it's referred to here. Actually, it's not. That's a floor. That concept is what I was thinking about. But let's find. Yeah. Okay, so it says Section 404 says to comply with Section 302 and 303. So let's go to 302 and 303. We're going to talk about change in elevation. So 302, floor surfaces. 303, changes in level. So this is basically the reference. Rise over run. So this will not exceed 2 over 1 in terms of changes in height. Given width, and in fact, you will see this relationship elsewhere as well. In particular, when you have a ramp, ramps are basically very important when it comes to thresholds as well, because it does talk about changes in level greater than ½ inch in height shall be ramped and shall comply with 405 or 406. If you look in Pemko's catalog, you'll see lots of ramps, and you'll immediately see the relationship between width and height change. So for every 6 inch, you basically are permitted 6 inch in width. Let me back that up. For every ½ inch change in height, you're permitted to not exceed 6 inches, to not fall smaller than 6 inches in width. So if you've got to go up 3/4 inch, that means that you'll have to have a ramp 9 inch wide. You know, for 1 inch, it would be, of course, 12 inch. All right, let's wrap up this video on camera. If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it. So if you have any questions on the Pemko 272B mill finish extruded solid brass or architectural bronze saddle threshold or any other Pemko product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you very much. Thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.